Chapter 13, The Detention. I don't want you guys messing around with me ever again, George said firmly as the boys squealed in a high-pitched terror. And that yellow-haired kid is off limits too. You mess with us, you answer the time. George snapped his tie in the air last time, causing the four sobbing sixth graders to shriek like baboons. I'm coping! Kipper wailed through his tears. Suddenly, Mr. Crump came stomping out of the building. What is going on out here? He screamed. They can't be us home! Kipper sobbed. Oh, he did he? Yelled Mr. Crump as he grabbed George by his arm. I don't take kindly boys in the school. They're the bullies! Cried Harold, pointing at Kipper and his three frightened friends. These guys are just gonna beat that kid up. He was just defending himself. Mr. Crump reached over and grabbed Harold by the arm. I don't like liars either, he growled. Mr. Crump yanked both boys to the detention room. You two troublemakers are going to stay here until you've learned your lesson, he shouted and then slammed the door. So much for good first inspiration, said George. The two boys sat in silence for several minutes. Harold opened his book and took an out notebook and pointing half of one of his broken pencils. He started to draw. What grade are you in? Said George. Kindergarten, said Harold. Me too, said George. I'm new. We moved here 3 days ago. Oh, said Harold. I think you live next door to my house. Really? Said George. George glanced over and noticed that Harold was drawing a giant monster. George said, Thanks. Hey, you're a good drawer, said George. Thanks, said Harold. George watched as Harold drew a flying hero zap monster with a laser beam. Cool, said George, pointing to the superhero. What's the guy's name? Harold smuggered. He doesn't have a name. How come? Asked Harold. Asked George. Harold shrugged again. It's just a picture, he said. It's not really a story. Oh, said George. George watched intently as Harold finished his picture. When he was done, Harold folded the page back and started drawing a new picture on the next page. Do you want to draw too? Harold asked. I have some more pencils. They're broken, but the point parts still work okay. No, said George. I can't draw good. I'm a writer. Oh, said Harold. He tore some fresh pages out from his notebook and handed them to George. Here, you can write these if you want. George took the papers and thought for a long time. Then he wrote, The Adventures of Dogman. at the top of the first page. At the bottom, he writes George by George and hey, what's your name, kid? George asked. Harold, said Harold. George wrote Harold's name down at the bottom. I'm gonna write a comic book, said George. You can draw the pictures, okay? Okay, said Harold. And that is how George and Harold became friends and started publishing their entire on that very same day.